I want to make this post void of any emotions. I want to stick to the facts, but disclaimer, I am deeply emotional. I decided that today would be the day I'd lay out all my evidence for the police and tell them who was behind my targeted campaign and see if I could get some real help. Today would be my third interaction with the police, but the first time I am actually laying out what I have for them and creating an official report. It did not go well. It did not go well at all. I do believe that I have put myself in even more danger by doing this. And so I am seeking help. I need safe passage out of Chicago and into the South. Once I get to the South, I need a soft place to land and I need some protection. When I started making videos about being a targeted individual 3 weeks ago, I had no idea they would get as much traction as they did. I also did not know that the people who have been tracking and following me would take it as the ultimate disrespect and not back down, not back off, but instead amp up the attacks and double down on their ability to show me that there is no hiding from them. I have given a lot of information about myself in these videos, but what I have not told you, because I've been embarrassed, is to tell you that I've been unhoused exclusively for the last 3 months. I've been embarrassed because people that I know, who I've worked with, I've worked alongside of, who've worked for me or for my family, follow me on these apps, both on their personal pages and on private dummy accounts. I'm fully aware of that. So I've held back a lot in telling my truths because I wanted to avoid the embarrassment of people knowing what my life has come to. Now, how I got homeless and all of that is something that we can talk about in a separate video, but right now I want to focus on where we are with this because it is in fact all connected. But again, I want to stick to facts. After I made the video showing you all the Bluetooth being put back into the car, things just got worse. A few days ago, I was under such heavy following and attack that I dipped off into a parking lot of a private convention center and found myself under the direct watch of a security guard. I told the guard, I am hiding from someone, I am running from people, and I'd like to sit here, if at all possible, if you will allow me, until I can figure out what my next steps were. And he said, okay, sit here as long as you want to. Where the building is closed. I thanked him. He stood out behind my car for a little bit of time, smoking a cigarette, and he eventually went back in. Before he went back in the building, I said to him, if someone approaches you with money, will you please not tell anyone I am back here? And he says, what? I'm about to close the door and go back in this building. And I said, okay, and just let him go. I know he thought I was crazy. However, I realize who my targeter is and what kind of access they have. So I knew that the possibility of this man getting to other people to convince them to help him would be easy. Easy. Yesterday, I worked for Lyft for 12 hours. I work about 12 hours, 5 to 7 days a week, and I barely break $200, if that. Lyft is absolutely slave labor. I hope I don't get fired from my job for saying that, but it is. If you are driving for Lyft exclusively, you know that. If you work for any of these ride shares or these delivery apps, you know that it's slave labor. I worked a full 12-hour shift, and when I was done, I was exhausted. My last ride, I was even dozing off. I pulled my car over. It was about 6:30. I had worked for so long, the app kicked me out. It said, you've been working for 12 hours. You need to take a 6-hour break. When I did that, I kind of slumped in my car. I dozed off for a little bit, but I woke up at about 8:30 and Spirit was saying, go to your storage space. And I thought, my storage space? Why? I'm smart enough to know when I hear direction from Spirit, I follow it. Even if I don't understand it in a moment, even if it makes absolutely no sense, I follow it. And I did. I went to my storage space. When I got there, when I got to the building, Spirit said, go up to the dock backwards. Now, to get to the dock, you have to drive up a ramp. Spirit wanted me to drive up that ramp backwards. And when the suggestion came in, when the direction came in, I thought, ooh, driving up that ramp backwards. Ooh, that would give me complete view of the parking lot. I never thought to do that before. This was not my thought, but I did it. I went to the ramp. I drove up it backwards. The butt of my car was facing the garage door. The nose of my car was facing the parking lot. I had a complete 360 view of that parking lot. I decided to sit there for a minute and see if the watchers would show up, and like clockwork, they did. 3 cars pulled in, a white one and 2 black ones. They all parked in different places in the lot. The man in the white car got out. He began to unload his car into like a pull wagon to bring everything inside the building. Now, to get into this building, you need a code, not open to the public after 8. And it was definitely closer to 10 at this time. When I saw him going towards the building, I asked him, sir, those cars that came in with you, are they with you? He said, no, I hadn't even noticed them. I thought, that's interesting. But I said, I don't know why they're just sitting here because this building is closed. So maybe you should come in this way where I am just for safety. And he said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me too. And so he did. I really wanted him to come in that way because, like I said, you need a code to get in that building. And I wanted to see if he had a code to get into that building. And sure enough, he did. He belonged there. And so did I. I opened up that garage door. I pulled my car in. I closed that garage door. And he went about his business up the elevator doing whatever he had to do. And I went up about my business up another elevator and did whatever I wanted to do. When I was done, I came back downstairs to my car. I sat there and I meditated for a little while. I made some requests of the universe, but then I asked God, I said, listen, if you can't give me a place to live, if you don't think that if that is too soon for me, I want to sleep in a place that makes me feel as secure as the place that I am in right now. Give me that at the least. A place that I feel as secure as I do sleeping here or sitting here right now. An enclosed space. Normally, I park my car at a gas station under a camera, and I got to know the staff at the gas station. So when I'm there, they know that I'm there. I have access to a restroom all evening, and I do feel safe there. I cover my windows, and I will sleep in my car there. However, being in that enclosed garage felt safer than even being at the gas station, and I wanted to sit there all night. I just knew that I could not. Spirit said, go to an indoor parking lot. So simple. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that before, but I decided that evening, last night, great, I'm going to find me a parking lot. I find probably the largest parking lot in the city, enclosed, with about 24 floors. After the 3rd floor, the rest of the floors were completely abandoned. No cars on any of them. I chose a floor to park on. There were no cars. I found a little corner, pulled my car into it, covered my windows, and before I slumped off to sleep, Spirit said, you're safe for the night, but they will be here in the morning. And I said to myself, I hope that's my ego talking. And again, they said 5 a.m. I just so happened to wake up at 4:58 a.m. I pulled my car off at 5:02 a.m. and passing all the abandoned floors, only to land on mine, another car was parked right next to me. With almost 400 other spots available, this car decided to park on this abandoned floor next to me with blacked out windows. Like for part 2.